Hello. So today I want to share some of the ways that I'm simplifying my life. I try to focus on simple food, just simple cooking and preparing meals and simple ingredients. And I'm also trying to not keep too much food in my kitchen pantries or in my fridge. I like to have only what I will eat, and I also have some things in case of emergency. If something happens, that I have a little bit of a stockpile. And I try to avoid that food gets expired as much as possible, or food sitting unused in my fridge. And also I like to have a clear view of what I have, and so that I know what I can prepare with the ingredients. And I personally also don't make cooking too complicated. I make simple meals and similar meals every day, with some exceptions here and there. And I do this mostly so that I don't have to be thinking about what I'm making and creating a lot of decisions on a daily basis. For me, this is a trade-off that I am willing to make, so that instead of having too many ingredients or herbs or even baking products, which would give me the freedom to make lots of different meals, but I'd rather have it simple and not be able to make everything, because the simplicity and just not having to think about it is worth it more for me right now. This can change, of course. This is something that I like right now. I am aware that I live alone, so that this is possible for me, and I understand that in different situations with having a family or living with other people, this might not be an option. Another thing is I'm focusing more on enjoying the simple things, and I'm not striving too much for the big luxuries in life. I live for the small daily things, a nice drink or a meal, and being in a beautiful city or a landscape, being on the road in my car or in the train, having a deep conversation with a good friend, reading a book, visiting an exposition, museum, or art gallery, and also just coming home to a calm environment after a long and busy work day, and that I can just sit peaceful at home without a big to-do list or things that need to be done, and that I can just rest. And these are some of the things that lift me up the most, and especially after feeling unwell for quite a while, I'm so grateful to be able to enjoy these small things again. And for me, these are the best parts about life anyway. And I'm just trying to make everything simpler and to just be happy with the small things, with the daily things. And of course, I try to have as little stuff as possible. And I try to only keep what I truly need or what I use or something that I really love, because I need to have as much empty space as possible. And I also try to make things as easy for myself as I can, with cleaning, with my to-do list, and just in general, I try to avoid overstimulation from clutter, from details, from detours, from small things here and there, from all the to-dos, just from everything that feels like noise. And I try to avoid the feeling that something needs to be done all the time, or that there are emergencies, things to do, and so forth. Another thing is that I stick to products or brands that work for me. I don't try out often new hair care, skincare, cleaning products, or you name it. Mostly because I just don't feel the need. There is so much choice, and we get bombarded with advertisements all day long. I personally rather not think about products too much, so if something works for me well, if I'm happy with something, I don't really feel a need to change it up or to switch things. And for me, it gives me comfort to have my go-tos and that I know my shopping list out of my head. There are just a couple brands or stores that I go to, and this helps me because I don't really have to think about it. It's not giving me much decision fatigue, and And of course, I understand that sometimes trying something new can be fun. And I have my exceptions here and there as well. But I get overwhelmed by so many choices. And if something works well, then I'm just sticking to it. And here again, I just love the simplicity of it all. And I also have a very simple wardrobe, and I kind of duplicate clothing. If I like something, I buy more of the same thing, maybe in a different color or different model. And this is mainly because with clothes, I can be very sensitive to how it fits, to the material. And finding the right clothes is not that easy for me. So when I do find something that feels comfortable to wear and that I also feel confident in it, I just buy more of the same thing. I do like some differences and also a little bit of variation so that I can mix a little bit, but overall I also like things to be similar. I try to find the Goldilocks middle for myself here too, so that I can still wear different things but also the same things. And also I just wear a couple of brands, and I also like to shop second hand if that is possible. And what I like about just wearing a couple of brands is also that it reduces decision fatigue with buying clothes. So now I don't have the whole world of possibilities. I don't have 100 different stores and 1,000 different brands to choose from. And even then, still all the different colors and models. So I do better with some choice restrictions. And here again, I'm gladly taking the trade-off to not have the freedom of everything, but that it gives me less decision fatigue, that my choices are already reduced. I know I like the brands and I feel good wearing them, so I don't need to have endless choices. It doesn't have to be perfect for me. I'm not always searching for something better. If it's good enough for me. And I feel better when my choices are restricted because that just makes it easier for me. And I'm still working on my wardrobe. I don't like to overspend in that area, and I'm not in a place that I feel I need to finish it up or that I feel like I need to be rushing. I have time to slowly buy the things that I need or want. And it's also important for me that I only own things that I love to wear on a daily basis. I try to avoid clothes that don't feel good or that I don't want to put on. Clothes that just lay in my closet unused. I avoid complicated things. Maybe they're difficult to wear, or they don't feel comfortable, or they're difficult to match, or they need some extra things. Maybe they're overstimulated with the colors and I feel like there's too much attention on me when I'm wearing it. Whatever the reason is for the clothes to be difficult, it doesn't matter. I just try to wear things that I know I love to wear every day. And I also try to avoid sensory overload here. And I also digitally do my best to be as minimal as possible. And I like to unsubscribe for most email advertisements. And I avoid using or having a lot of apps. And I try to clean out the files and pictures on my phone and laptop frequently. And I'm also trying to say no more often. No to getting things into my home. Whenever I feel tempted to buy something, to too much clothes, too much furniture, too much of basically anything. Whenever I feel tempted, I try to remember how I love simplicity, how I love a clear space and a clear mind. I love a schedule that is not fully planned, and I love free time, thinking time, creating time. I love simple routines and rituals, nothing too complicated. And every time that I'm tempted to make things more complicated, or whenever I feel pressure to do more, I try to think about if adding something gives me just as much pleasure as having a simple home and having rest, and in most cases it doesn't. And I try to allow time to just rest, and also I try to be conscious with the amount of responsibilities I want to take up, and I try to keep my stress levels very low. For me, having complicated job titles isn't worth the pressure that I feel on a daily basis. And for me, being as carefree as I can is one of my highest priorities in life, and it goes beyond most of the things that would only complicate my life. And I try to really think about if the stress or the responsibility of having something, doing something is worth it. And especially also in the working field, and if I want to take that up or not. And for me, mostly it works better when I just try to keep it as simple and as stress free as possible. And of course, I know that's not always possible, but as much as I can. So these are some of the ways that I try to simplify my life. And let me know how you try to simplify your life. I'm curious to hear that. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.